It's hot out here. Where's this bus?
Toni, it's not that serious. The bus is wherever it is. It'll be here soon.
Not that serious. I didn't spend 20 years in Florida. I'm not used to this heat.
What you trying to say? I lived outside when I was in Florida or something? It's hot to me too.
Okay.
You know, it looks like we right back where we started, huh, Toni?
I wouldn't say that. There's been progress.
I can't damn.
I'm serious.
Well, I know I'm tired of switching, and I hope this is the last time doing the intros, because I ain't got money like this.
And I'm tired of this heat, and where's this bus?
Toni, are you even listening to me? You getting paid, you got a contract. I'm talking to you, you ain't even hearing nothing I'm saying.
I'm not going anywhere. But I would be going somewhere if this bus would show up.
You know what? I can't do it. You know what? Let's go, Toni. Let's just walk. You complain about it's hot, damn it. You making it hot. Come on, let's go.
It's hot.
You complaining too much.
Well, it's hot.
Yeah, I know it's hot. What do you want? What do you want? You got ice cubes in here or something? Yeah. Can't even read my magazine.
They always forget me. Always forget me. Every time. Never fails.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Episode number 40 of the Perfectly Incomplete podcast. I'm your host. I'm Imogene. I'm in the building. What's up? I got my girl Toni. She's in the corner in the building. What's up, TT?
Hi, they put me in the corner, so I got an attitude.
All right. And she got an attitude. Who cares? Anyway. And we've got some guests here. I was going to call them special, but they ain't special. They like everybody else. So to my right, I got Corey Ray in the building. What's up, Corey?
Chilling. Excited.
Chilling. And
I don't sound excited, but I'm excited.
And I got Cecil in the building. What's up, Cecil?
Just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
This is going to be fun.
I'm loving the hair. So everybody doing all right? Listen, let's just get to it. All right. This is the deal. The queer community been coming at me, okay? They've been coming at me, y'all.
They've been coming at you. What they been saying?
Toni, okay, you remember we did an episode when I talked about being in Target, in the dressing room,
yes.
And I saw what appeared to be a man. I made the statement, if you got balls, I don't want to be in a dressing room or the bathroom with you, right?
Yeah.
And I put a little clip. I had people reach out on social media and transphobic. They were saying I'm transphobic and yada, 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 right?
Did they label you?
They did.
They labeled you.
They did.
Oh my God.
And so, I respect their opinions and their perspectives, even though they didn't have the full context. And I invited them to have a conversation because I thought it was fruitful ground, because it's all about acceptance and mutual respect, right? And I'm not about division, I'm about unity. That's why I hate discrimination and injustice and prejudice because, So anyway, I wanted to have this conversation now. And if I said to you, Cecil, and I still mean it, I was in the dressing room. Let me correct myself because I said Target did not have a sign. They do have a sign, but it's in a spot where you wouldn't know where to see it. But still, if I'm in the dressing room and I'm coming out and I see a man who looks like a man, his Adam's apple is pregnant. That's how far it's sticking out. He's got hair all over his thing, and I'm coming out the bathroom. So as far as I know, he looks like a man. And I'm assuming he's a man and he has testicles. Someone says whatever's under his pants is his business. Yes, it is. But I'm saying if I'm in the dressing room, if I'm in the bathroom, no, I don't. If you look like a man, I don't really know how am I supposed to know? So what y'all think on that? Hey.
I put a lot of thought into this because you told me this story a long time ago.
You're not supposed to tell people that I told you this story a long time ago.
We're friends. We
are.
So I the thing that I thought was interesting was how your experience as a woman interacting with a man with maybe a history of violence or trauma had a reaction to that not a lot of people are able to put their shoes in. And you reacted to the situation sort of in a fear response or some sort of response that caused like a kerfluffle. And it's like...
Kerfluffle, what's that?
Like I don't know, people were getting their hackles raised by what you had said.
Listen, I'm black, and I know we have a communication barrier, so you got to define your words, okay? So I don't know what that means.
People got
riled up.
defensive, riled up about what you had said, and not really, I thought, taken into consideration the fact that your history of maybe having close encounters with men led to some sort of response that led you to act in a different way. and not be so like maybe thoughtful in that moment. It's like when we're being triggered by something that makes us uncomfortable, we're not gonna always think straight. And I think that we should be given space to be able to have that experience. That I had that experience at Target and I was made uncomfortable by that experience. And it's like, you're allowed to be uncomfortable with that experience. And so whether you turn that discomfort into a statement that you make public and whatever, like, that's another thing. But you're allowed to have that space to have that discomfort. And there's a reason that there's men's rooms and women's rooms in public spaces, especially with multiple stalls. And it's for safety. And so I think that from a safety perspective, it's like, yeah, you had a response to something that felt unsafe, and with good reason.
And I appreciate that. And I will say, something you said, I'm not thinking straight. Just for the record, I was thinking very straight, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you didn't mean it.
Yeah.
But I'm just listening to you. I was thinking straight from my experience. Right. And so to say, like, what may be crooked to you could be straight to you.
Thank you.
So, but I appreciate that.
And I think the issue with saying, like, oh, if you've got balls, don't come in this, I think that's more of a statement that can be more controversial, because I identify as a woman. I pass whatever you want to say. I got nuts. I got balls. But that's where I change. So, like, yes, I understand that if that's your experience and that's your reasoning for reacting that way, that's fine. And I understand that, and I understand where you're coming from. I think it's the statement that comes after that. That's the part that can be seen as transphobic.
Okay, but how about this? And I appreciate you, and you can help me anytime you want to. But my thing is, in the big scheme of things, our nation, our country, it evolves. But ever since I've been on planet Earth, and it goes back, Corey, we can take it back to France, right? That's the first time they segregated restrooms. It was at some Parisian ball they had, and they decided that they needed a separate room for ladies and men. So whoever the powers that be, I think it was in a Roman ball, a Parisian ball, something. It's always the 1%, the rich, that's coming up with these great ideas. So they're the one that introduced this, and then it caught on other places. So if I grew up saying or living the experience of a ladies' room and a men's room, this is how I've been programmed all my life. And now we have lots of species of humanity that has evolved. I don't know. How the hell I'm supposed to know what you are? If I can't look at you and tell, what do? Go up and say, what are you? Is that what I'm supposed to do?
Oh, hell no.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? So give me the grace. Everybody knows in the process of change, you go through different phases, right? Don't I get the grace to just really think about what's happening and run it past my values? And do I get to choose to internalize? Do I get the grace to engage in the change process?
I think you should. I've always been on that train. So I've always had that issue with a lot of people that, in the communities I'm in, that even if somebody's trying to learn, especially, like, you're going to say the wrong thing. You're going to say the wrong words because you don't know. That's why you're asking questions. So as long as you're doing that and you're actually, like, taking accountability for your thoughts, for your feelings, the process that's going on in your head, and you're applying what you're learning, I'm fine with it. Because everybody has to start somewhere. Like, everybody is, I don't want to say indoctrinated, but, like, this is what you're used to all your life. And even as a trans person, like, we have to deconstruct that for ourselves to even get where we are in the first place. And and it's harder to do for people who aren't trans, honestly, because that's just what they've been raised with. That's what it's always been like. And you have to deconstruct that and admit to yourself, hey, you know what? I gotta change that, and that's actually not right. Or this wording I'm using is maybe not that great, that you've never thought about before. And it's not telling you, hey, you're a bad person. I'm saying, hey, just, maybe you want to change the way you see or say this, because these are the connotations that come with it. Mm-hmm. And so long as you're willing to accept that and learn from that, I'm totally fine with that. Like, I'm totally down with having a discussion with a person like that, because that's what we're supposed to have. Like, we're supposed to learn, and everybody has to go through that awkward phase. Everybody's going to fuck up. Everybody's going to say the wrong thing. so long as you do it with the right intentions, you're actually learning, that's good by me.
Yeah.
That's my big thing.
There was a law that was passed in a couple of, I don't want to say backwater states, but it seems like it, that you weren't allowed to go into the bathroom that wasn't on your birth certificate. And
North Carolina.
And maybe it was North Carolina.
Yeah, it was North Carolina.
And
was
so
like a
there, an example had been made of this, that there were some women in the women's room and some men-looking people walked in, jeans, t-shirt, beard, short hair, everything, and they went and used the women's bathroom. And the women in there were like, what is going on? And the men explained, well, here's my birth certificate. I was assigned female at birth. And I have to use this bathroom because I'm in North Carolina. And I have to use the bathroom that was assigned to me at birth. And so now you're getting people in the women's restroom. And so it's like the appearance of a man can be triggering. And especially if you expect, if you're in a women's bathroom, that you're not going to see a man, and you see a man in there. And so these laws that have been written, some of them, they have a reverse impact, like where you're putting women who are just minding their own business in the bathroom in a position of potentially dealing with a trauma trigger if they've been assault victims or something, and they see somebody who is appearing as a man. That can be frightening. And so we're not thinking always about sex. Actually, what we're thinking about is gender, because it's the expression, the thing that you see is a feminine form in the girl's bathroom seems safe. A masculine form in a woman's bathroom seems not right, especially if you've grown up with this deep separation.
Agreed. And as I think about it, I just go back to early in history, like segregation, separate but equal. We know it wasn't equal, but it was separate. So my thing is, what just really bothers me, the people who make the rules, they can change them anytime they get damn ready to. You know what I'm saying? So when it was segregation, white people had bathrooms, black people was going outside or going in the basement or something like that. And I mentioned that to say, why can't it be like that now? I shouldn't have to. I should have the freedom. If I don't want to, if there's a sign that says a family or unisex, that's fine. Verbally, I can see it. I should have the power of choice. But to say that I have to accept, and I'm cool because I can accept anybody, but I'm saying you can't mandate people to accept you, whatever you choose to identify as. As we can see in history, there's lots of groups of people who still haven't been accepted. And I think that's where I'm upset. The queer community as a whole is really being sensitive, and even to me extra sensitive. And the people that were with their comments, which I said, I respect them. Everybody has a right to their opinions, and they were expressing that because either they were a part of that community or have loved ones. And I shared, I have people in the queer community that are my family and my loved ones too. But what that got to do with me? I'm still an individual. I have the right to live in my space. I have the right to my own paradigm or my worldview. You can't push stuff on me. You can't get mad at me because I don't want to share. And even if I decided I don't want to share a bathroom with someone that's in the queer community based upon whatever, because I don't know. It's in, like you said, if you don't know, you don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't even know if there's a such thing as sex or gender anymore. It's you just don't know. But the sensitivity, I felt attacked because both groups, I'm an African American, I'm a woman, so I'm in a marginalized group based upon certain identities. And the queer community, they're marginalized as well. So for them to lash out at me, and then it's they're queer, but then they walk in the white privilege. So it's you're just like I am until you need to be privileged. And for them to lash out, you have to be careful what you say. Because, and I made the statement, it's a choice. And I still say it's a choice. The debate has been nurtured versus nurture, all this. But to come at me and say, be careful because little kids are choosing to come out and they're being murdered, they're murdered, raped, and you know how violent people are against people in the queer community. And I understand that. And I have compassion. But I'm like, how dare you? How dare you? My race has been getting lynched and raped and everything since the beginning of time. And I didn't choose to wear their skin. So that's what kind of bothered me. And if anything else I would like to say to the people, they wouldn't even have the conversation with me. I'm like, let's have the conversation. They don't even want to talk about it.
Right. That's the part that I'm like, yeah, you should be at least able to talk about it at the very least. But
Go ahead, Cecil. Go ahead and say it.
I know. I'm just okay. So that one line you said about, you know, they can still go back to the white privilege and that, like, they have that separation and that. I've been watching all the Dave Chapelle specials.
Oh, yes.
I've watched all of them on Netflix. That's a line that came back a couple times. Like, you can be queer, but when you need to be, you still have your white privilege. For me, I don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
Well, you're a person of color, though.
Right, but that's what I mean.
You don't
Like,
have white privilege, but your community as a whole does.
that would be too much of a blanket statement and ignores the
They're
intersectionality,
winning.
though.
They're winning.
That's the part that I
We can
feel
have
like
this
is gone.
conversation.
Oh no, but
I'm ready.
and I know, and I see what you're saying. It's just I think that, and when it came to the show, the special too, is that there's a whole intersectionality part that's being completely missed, because the queer community is not just white people. Yes, they have been totally using their privilege to get ahead when it comes to progress compared to the black community, for sure.
Absolutely.
But the way that things get said that way, you're dismissing it, or at least it feels dismissive to a point that all these queer kids, people, adults, whatever, that fall in, that are also people of color, get kind of ignored. Because there's a huge group there going on that, I mean, within the black community, there's a huge queer problem, and with discrimination and everything. It's a ginormous problem. And that just accentuates it, I feel like. It just reminds us, like, oh yeah, hey, we're kind of still here.
And I think that when Dave Chapelle attacks the LGBTQ community, he's attacking black people. Because black people are in that community.
Right.
And so you can't attack that community without attacking black people, because they're in that community also.
Jump in here, Tony.
Okay.
I see her face, I want to hear it.
Okay. So, yeah, I've been quiet for long enough because I've been listening. So,
Yay.
so, Cecil, to address your point as to the deliberate ignorance of the intersectionality, it's not. It's not deliberate, because it's not that they have an issue with the LGBTQ community as a whole. They have an issue with their people being LGBTQ. And that's not everybody in our community, I would say.
Right.
It's not. When we think about, and the reason why I say this is because I've seen it. So I've seen where, you know, the black church has attacked their,
Sheeple.
what'd you say?
Oh, flock.
The choir directors,
Yes, they've attacked their
the
own
worship leaders.
until it was beneficial for the church.
Absolutely.
So,
Oh, I almost called out a church name.
don't do that.
You fall down,
I'm about to
fall
say,
down.
because I got a few in my arsenal. But, so, you know, until it was beneficial to them. And that's what I see a lot within my own community. We don't like to talk about sexuality as a whole, because we have been raped, because we have been abused, because there's been so much that's attached to that, just to our sexuality as a whole, that we just don't even want to do it no more. We don't want to. We've been exploited sexually. Men, women, children. We've already been through that. So right now, we don't even want to talk about that no more. We're done. What you do is your business. And that's a lot of times within our community. You ain't got to tell us what you do in your bedroom. Keep that over there. That's what I have seen it. The reason why I can say that is because I've seen it and I've heard it. I don't want to know what you do in your bedroom. Oh, he's different. He's sweet. You know, we try to find cute little colloquialisms to explain what we really want to say. But that's what I have seen. As far as Corey and your point, whereas when you say that when Dave Chapelle speaks about the queer community, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is what I heard you say, but I could be wrong. When he speaks illy of the queer community, he's speaking illy of the black community. That's what you're saying? Just need confirmation.
Black queer community. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I
So-
don't agree.
Those are black people in that queer community. So.
And the reason why I say I don't agree is because he is saying he's demanding for his own community to step up so they don't have to go to somebody else for help to get to where they should be. It's not necessarily that he's saying like, you know, I'm shunning you because you're queer. No, I'm not doing that. I'm demanding my own community to step up. It's our time to step up and get stuff done, to push us forward. Someone of color should not have to go to their white counterpart to get to where they need to be.
Can I have the baton on that? And as far as Dave Chapelle, Corey was saying he's attacking people. My perception of that was totally different. He had an agenda. He had an objective. His message was loud and clear to me. From my perspective, it wasn't one of division. I think he was trying to paint a picture, and he said it. I have no problem with the queer community because there's blacks, Indians, Asians. You know, it's just diverse within that community. What he was highlighting, what I got on another level, is that us, the little subcultures, are being puppeted with people pulling strings for us to pit against each other. And he was making points. It's almost like Bernie Mac, somebody said, I'm jealous. Why can't they talk about us? Because when I listen to him, everybody's supposed to be valued and accepted. You can be who you want to be. As a man thinketh he is. And some people think they're a man. Some people think they're a woman. Some people are demisexual, like Corey has presented people, you know, they're on a spectrum. It's not actually about sexuality. It's not about gender. It's about emotional attraction and all of this stuff. But I'm going to say, Dave Chapelle, I heard what he said, and I agree with him on two things I really want to highlight. Like when he said, he mentioned, what's Bruce Jenner's new name? Caitlyn. And she supports him, by the way. She's not mad at him. But when he said, how can Caitlyn get Woman of the Year? She's been a woman for a year, and all the women in the world, we came out of our mother's vaginas or stomachs as women. And you get a woman that goes through a process of changing her biological makeup, she gets Woman of the Year. What does that
year that she became woman.
What does that do to the rest of us women? Think about that. When we talk about being valued and accepted, that's a lot. And number two, when he says, he's talking about their vaginas, he said it's beet juice that comes out, and he says gender is a fact. I don't want to really elaborate on that because sexuality, gender, it's so blurred. It's like you can just make up whatever you want to call yourself. But I'm sorry. I got to agree when he said about J.K. Rowling and a turf. I'm not going to say, I don't exclude trans people, and I'm just giving this what he said in the part of the community. But, you can go have an operation, and that's your thing. But your vagina, and he left it for people to think, that's probably a good pause. But I'm sorry. I don't have to be sorry, okay? I came out of my mother's womb. I naturally had a period. You know, I had sex. I got pregnant. I pushed my baby out of my vagina. Like a natural biological process. And no, nothing against transgenders or whoever, wherever they are. But I'm saying as far as you go do what you got to do to get a vagina, no, yours ain't the real thing. It ain't like mine. And that's just the bottom line. And I'm not saying mine in particular. No, oh, come on. I'm not saying...
No, we knew that.
No, but I'm just saying... He was... No. I'm not saying to me personal. I'm just... Come on, guys. The way he was presented it, And I get it. And people are getting mad. Turf, you're so quick to call people names because he can't express his opinion. And my thing is, we're going to be whoever you want to be. Whoever you say you are, that's you. And I get it. Like Ralph Waldo Emerson, my favorite quote, I got to say it. He says, in a world where everyone's trying to make you into something else, to be yourself is a major accomplishment. It is. And if you want to be queer, if you want to be whatever other categories there are of people on the spectrum of the human species, if you want to be half bootleg dog and Catwoman or whatever you want to be that. But if you choose to be that, embrace that who you are, because you can't stifle somebody's right to say what they want to say because you get offended. And I don't need nobody checking me, telling me what to say with the history that I come from. You know, let's respect each other.
Bootleg dog and Catwoman.
I'm just saying.
I wanted to speak to Toni because I
Go
really,
for it, baby.
I see you with your notebook.
No, I
Oh
really,
yeah, I missed mine. I should have brought mine.
I learned from last time.
God.
So I actually really appreciate what you said, that you're absolutely right, that like black people should not have to go through white counterparts to get the things that are owed to them. That is 100% something I agree with.
Go up to
And
mine.
so what I think about is the word should, because morally you're correct. And I think that systemically and legally and politically it works out so that is the way that it has happened. And it's like only through pressuring white power does black people move at all. And so it's like, I believe that we should have a united front. That has been my philosophy from the beginning, because I don't think that people should have to appeal to anybody for their God-given rights or have to have anybody stand in for them. Money, food, water, shelter, like work. So I totally agree with the point that that should not be the way it is, but the way I see it, that's the way it has ended up through no fault of our own. And so how can we figure that out? You know, people power, establishing outside, like, meta-political, like, cultural groups that influence the political system somehow, you know, like hip-hop. Like, a lot of our music genres actually do influence cultural norms and then end up influencing politics on some way. And so there's something happening, but it's not like the you know, we're getting gerrymandered they just redrew a bunch of districts, and it's just getting worse for people of color, especially in urban areas. And so I don't know the answer to that, but I wanted to agree, you know, that I don't think that anybody should have to appeal to anybody.
Listen, I need y'all to put in the comment box why this cancel culture. What are y'all canceling him for? For what? What did he do that he should be canceled? What has he done? Anytime your president can get on his debate and say, I'm the least racist on here, anytime your president can say that and he doesn't get canceled.
This is fair.
Why? I need y'all to put, why do y'all think they trying to cancel Dave Chapelle? Why? What did he do wrong?
So, okay, wait. I gotta backtrack a little bit. Because first off, what you were saying earlier, I don't want to say resent, but I don't. When I was told what I was saying earlier is like, hey, you don't always understand the connotations that come with the words that you're saying. So the way it was put, a lot of the things that you were saying was, it's a choice. It's not the same. It's it felt dismissive to women who don't get periods, who can't have kids, who and that could be cisgender or transgender. And I think that was the part that I personally really didn't like about Dave's part when he was like, oh, you know, it's beyond pussy or impossible pussy. It's like, it's not really the same thing. Okay, I get how he constructed that joke, but the connotation to it is, we're not real. We're not actually women. That's the connotation that comes with it, and that's where the gender is a fact and the biological, natural, all those words like that makes it makes trans women, at least, because that's what we keep talking about. That's another point.
Oh, it's always gonna be, because trans men, they, you know.
Oh, they're ignored, and that's a whole other
Completely.
misogynistic bullshit. But
It makes them what?
It will belittle them, one, to just the parts that they have between their legs, do or don't have, and you're basically saying you're not really a woman because you had to make it. So it's not the real thing, it's not the natural thing, and it just dismisses us as women. Like, I wouldn't choose to go through this if I had a choice. I wouldn't want to go through this. I hated my body from top to bottom, and I still do in a lot of parts. The only reason I'm getting surgery is so it makes sense with what's inside me, in my head and in my heart and how I feel. I'm trying to have things align. So saying that, it's you had to make that, you had to go through surgery to get that, and it's not real, and you're not really a woman. That's the part that's offensive. That's the part that hurts. That's the part where you're telling me you're not really a woman. You don't really matter. You're not really part of us, and validates just my existence. And it sounds very dramatic and big, but that's, at least for me, how it feels. And if I speak to other trans women around me, specifically, so I can't say it as a general statement, but that's how it comes across. That's how it feels. And especially when it comes to Dave saying, I'm team that pissed me off on a whole nother level. But he, it's been a pattern that he's had, like watching all of his specials. He'll be like, oh, I don't have any problem with it, and trans women are really women, but that's nothing. It's like, whatever you said before that, saying that you agree with it and I don't have an issue, if you start the next part of your sentence with, but I don't care what you said before, because that does not matter anymore.
And that's fine.
You know?
And I'm glad you said that, and I'll say again, when you said you don't have a choice, it's the way you feel and you want to be in alignment. And this is just, I beg to differ, okay? I still stick to my thing that it's a choice. You know what I'm saying?
I made the point last time, and
wait,
I'll reiterate.
Finished.
Okay.
I'm not finished, and I'll give it to you, but I got to address this. As far as you say he belittles people, like, I've suffered with self-esteem all my life from being abused and molested and just everything, right? And I had to learn to come to myself to embrace me. So you can call me a name, like we've been in this world of discrimination in which we live, being an African-American woman that has certain identity characteristics, whether it's being a veteran or being divorced or being a recovered crack addict. There's...
Or even just being dark.
Yeah, being really dark. Colorism, yeah. So I've been the recipient of all of that. And even when I talk to my colleagues that are not black, and I tell them that was a microaggression, and they're, oh, you're so sensitive, this and that. And that's a bunch of pool hockey. But my point in saying, when you're saying he's belittling you, if you're going to embrace yourself and be who you are, you're going to learn to love yourself. That's you. You can't say anybody makes you feel a certain kind of way. I get it. People can say things to you that are harmful. Listen, I've been there. And I know it's a coming into yourself. It is a journey as you embrace, and especially when you're living in a world that people reject you. They're looking at you like you're strange or like you're some kind of a freak. And granted, I'm a black woman. This has been my race since I've been on the face of the earth. So I'm very seasoned with people looking at me like this. So when you say he belittles people, I beg to differ. And it's all about self-acceptance. And like you say, when you're trying to align, and I still say it's a choice. So we're going to agree to disagree. That's my thing. But I still respect you as a person. And yet I still affirm, I'm not saying you're a woman. I don't know what you are. Hell, I know what I am at this moment. Tomorrow I may be something different. So I'm constantly evolving myself. I can't tell you what you are, but what I will tell you, I do have a problem that Caitlyn Jenner gets Woman of the Year right after she has her procedure. I've been a woman all my life, and how many women on the world that have, and I don't know whether your shit is real or whatever, I'm not even trying to go there, but facts are facts. They can be supported. Truth can't be refuted. And the fact of the matter is, people, whether they're cis or trans or whatever they do, when I was born in 1964,
Oh Lord.
okay, when you came out, you had a vagina, and babies came out of vaginas. They didn't come out of penises. They didn't come out of anuses. And because people are changing their gender to have body parts that's in alignment with who they believe they are, that's fine. They have the right to do that. I'm not saying your stuff is real or fake, but what I am saying is when you came into this world, you didn't have that capability of pushing a baby out of your vagina. So if you feel belittled because somebody is saying your stuff ain't real, I'm not in that lane. I'm not even saying I don't know what your stuff is. I don't want to know what your stuff is, but I know what my stuff is. I know I came here. I didn't have a choice. I came out here. I had holes in certain parts of my body. I did not have a choice. I couldn't choose, you know. So you get where I'm going with that, right?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that it's not belittling would be the wrong word. It would be diminishing a person to purely their genitals. That's what I meant. That was the main part that he was talking about. And that happens a lot against the trans communities. Like, all that a lot of people talk about is what's between your legs, essentially. And we're more than that. We're an entire person. And that's what but that's what I mean. A lot of the time when it comes to jokes, when it comes to people who just don't understand or don't care to understand or are trying to be insulting, that's the part they go to. Caitlyn Jenner being Woman of the Year, I mean, fuck her. I don't like her. I don't think she should have gotten it either way.
I like Bruce.
I'm not gonna go to that one. I'm not touching that. Anyway, but I think, but that's the part that we have a lot of trouble with, is that a lot of the time that's the part that gets focused on. He mentioned one time, Caitlyn Jenner was posing nude on the cover of Sports Illustrated or something, and what was the joke? Like, I don't want to see that, but I have this morbid curiosity, but not because I'm gay. I'm like, but that doesn't make you gay, because Caitlyn Jenner is a woman. Even if she did have a dick, she's still a woman. And that's the part where, that's what I mean, like, everything gets diminished to whatever is in your pants. And that makes it also, like, we are so much more than that. We are entire people with other interests and personalities. And
there's a
that's the part that I'm saying is, like, that we take issue with, because that's usually what happens. And finally, it's slowly moving away from that. But
it's moving fast for that group, because
it's
been moving real slow for us, because we're people too. Just like saying,
I get that, and I'm not dismissing that.
People look at you all in your genitals. Yeah, I'm always talking about race. Yes, I am. But look at the black race. They've always been looking at us for the color of our skins, and not, like you say, getting to know. Like, I can sit down and talk to you. I sit down and talk to you. I have the intellect and the openness, the willingness, and the common sense to know this package, that's not you. That energy, that's who you are.
Right.
This is the way you're representing it, right? So I know this. I can talk to you. We can share. You can share your values with me, and it's the same way with me being an African American, or with black people, or any other marginalized group, and it's always the white person. That's what Dave Chapelle, maybe we read something different, and granted, he made jokes. He's a comedian. I think he should have the right to express his art the way he wants to. He talked about blacks. I got a problem when they be calling us bitches, but I'm like, okay, maybe that's the culture there, and if they like it, that's cool. If, that's their world, you live the way you want to. But the dude made jokes about everybody. Obviously enough, he do feel a certain kind of way. It's kind of obvious he feels a certain kind of way, but he has a right to feel however he wants to toward whoever, and that's his platform. He was making jokes. When they was making jokes about niggas and stuff like that, people don't be turning up like that. But now if it's the queer community, it's like y'all really winning.
So I'm gonna say this.
You need to say
Gotta
something
get ready.
over there earning this free paycheck.
I'm gonna say, yeah. Listen,
it is free, ain't it?
it's real free and on time. So Cecil, the reason why I sit back and I'm quiet, because I'm listening and I'm learning, and then I got a lot to say after I learn something. So, what you said your issue with Dave Chapelle was the fact that he reduces, or at least with a lot of people, is the fact that people have the tendency to reduce transgender people to their genitalia. Right. Agree. I definitely don't think an individual should be reduced to their genitalia.
Right.
However, women have been reduced to their genitalia for quite some time.
I don't think those are mutually
So-
exclusive.
What? I'm sorry, one more time?
I said I'm saying that I'm not saying those are mutually exclusive, and I am totally on board with that
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like, oh, we're the only people who go through this. Not at all. Like, I know that there's more to it. I'm saying in this specific instance, like, this is the issue that I have with it, and that I've seen more at large that the issue is with it. Not saying like, oh well, women don't go through that. We have it the worst. Like, no, that's utter bullshit.
But that's just what I'm saying.
okay.
When one says, I am a woman, you are automatically reduced to your
Oh,
genitalia.
yeah.
And that just comes, unfortunately, that's just par for the course. And one thing I would say is that just as I was born female, I have been reduced to my genitalia since 1993. So, yeah. So, with that just being said, what makes the transgender community any different? If you decide that you want to be identified as a woman, you have to handle woman problems. And being reduced to your genitalia is one of those problems.
I want to say that I appreciate this so much because it's like, you used to also kind of hit on it, that it's like, I don't think 2 wrongs make a right.
No, absolutely
Right.
not. And 3 rights don't make a left.
And so, it's like when white comedians are like picking on black people or something, I don't think that's right. And I'm not going to say that, okay, now that means that black comedians can pick on trans people, especially black cis male comedians picking on trans people. It's like that just because like it happened, does like something bad happen, doesn't mean other bad things should also happen. And so I think it also goes back to that word like should. Like, should white comedians make fun of black people? Probably not.
But why is it that when it's done to one community, it is then now seen
Nobody
as
gets
a
canceled.
problem?
Yes, and actually this goes back to
versus another.
the white supremacy problem, right? And we were talking about this a little last time, how also, like part of how black people shouldn't have to appeal to white people is because white supremacy is a white people problem. They invented it, we uphold it, and like it's our responsibility to unhold it and pull it apart. And so that's what's not happening, is like white people at large are not recognizing their white supremacy, and that's making them kind of blind to some of these issues. And that's just like, like if our experience is like centered on our own bodies, like we're going to be targeted for different reasons. But it's like, I think that white people are the ones who are the problem, and I think Dave Chapelle agrees with that. And I just don't think
We all agree.
I don't think queer people are the problem, right? White queer people can be problematic and can make problems worse for black queer people, but they're probably not going to make life worse for all black people. Like, that's like a thing that cis white hetero people in power are going to be able to do.
You think so? Because the reason why I say that is because if I talk like this all the time, I'm ghetto. Right?
Not to me, but
No.
yeah.
No,
I'm
yeah,
letting
yeah.
you know.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But if you say like,
But
and like,
if-
well,
No. But if Cecil talk like this all the time, Cecil cute. How that work? Explain that to me. Because if I speak like this, then I'm trying to appeal to my white counterpart. I'm not educated. I'm not intellectual. I'm not. I hate the word bright, but but I'm not brilliant. I'm not any of these things. I'm whitewashed. I'm code switching. I'm trying to fit into a position in which I don't belong, which is not true. Because I demand a seat at every table that I bring a plate to.
And you should be able to sit at the table in the essence of who you are instead of conforming to who somebody think you should be.
Thank you.
And that's and that's where the real fight is. And like you said, the white supremacy is the problem, And, people may say, well, you focus on the problem. Yes, you have to keep the problem out there. It's here. It's going to be here until individuals, one by one, can transform their way of processing and perceiving and to really know. I'm not talking about know logically here. Like I said, there's facts and there's truth. The truth is here. When you see things, whether the issue with Dave Chapelle and how he's canceled and Bill Cosby, compare him to Harvey Weinstein. You can just see and yet I say with this issue with the cancel Dave Chapelle, my thing is this lady at Netflix, who staged the walkout, the one Dear White People, either she just blind or she in the dark or whatever, because whether she has a great job or whatever, she's still part of a marginalized community, even though Hollywood and entertainment is run by the queer community. You know what I'm saying? That's why, in my opinion, they're winning. They're like really winning. But this lady that staged this walkout, as smart as she is, you mean to tell me she can't realize and say, oh, I'm offended. We're offended at this. The light don't go on. Like, damn, who am I to be canceling stuff? Black people have been offended. Indian people, and they getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving, which I don't celebrate because of the meaning of the holiday. I'm not going to celebrate this country murdering people, even though I'm supposed to be in the free world. No, if I'm with my family, whatever, we're going to talk about what it really, really is. But I'm not going to celebrate you shedding blood and just taking what you want. And so when I see the little subcultures and subcommunities trying to divide, and this lady in particular, like, she's got to be a smart lady to know to see the bigger picture instead of to be focusing on who the hell you are. You ain't no better than nobody else. Nobody is special. We all should be seen as valued. We're unique, different. You get to be who you want to be. I get to be who I want to be. We should be able to move around freely. You ain't got to agree. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to understand it. If you want to know it, let's use these relational skills. Let's communicate. Let's be open. Let's suspend our judgment. Let's try to get to know, like I said, this is just the package, the way it looks. Wayne Dyer said something, and I love Wayne Dyer. He said, he said he's passed on, but he was a great, he was a teacher, he was a coach, a speaker, all of this. He was saying, you weigh a person before they die. He gave an example. Somebody weighs 150 pounds. After they die, you weigh them again. They still weigh 150 pounds, but they're dead. That energy, that life is out of them. So that's their corpse. I say that to say the life, the essence of our being is intangible. It cannot be touched. So the way we choose to represent ourselves is just that, a choice. And for people to be maltreating or mistreating or bullying or murdering or hurting someone because we don't present in a way that they think we should, I'm not going to say they're crazy if they just think about that notion and think about it. Intelligent people, that makes no sense.
Sounds like you coming after PC culture, man.
Who is PC culture?
Political correct.
I don't give a damn about being political correct.
No, I'm saying what you're saying is that as opposed to coming at people for essentially what they say or how they present it, and because you didn't like the way that they presented it, then you're canceling bullying or whatever the case may be, then, you are... I forgot my point.
I'm sorry.
It happened in the middle.
You said PC.
PC culture, yeah. So, like, basically, you don't like the way that somebody said something. So now they're canceled, right?
Yeah.
Just because you didn't like the way they said it.
Just listen. Just
because it wasn't how you wanted to hear it.
So here's my issue with that. I get what you're saying, but the thing is,
I think I said it, but I don't know. I can't tell you.
It's like you said. Alex said, and he's not here, y'all. If y'all wondering, pray for him. He's sick, and we pray for him to be recovered. But it's like he said, freedom of speech is free until you say something that somebody don't like, and that somebody has the power to try to cancel you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and this is where I was saying, like, you can say something that if I one understand how what Dave is saying. I completely understand what he's saying. The problem is that he's using specifically the trans community. He I'm trying to figure out how to put this the best way.
You get his message, but you
I
don't
get
like
his
the fact
message,
that
but the
he
way that he
centralized
said it is not great, and the way that he said it really just like it was punching down for me. For me, I know.
Oh no,
Hold
not the
on.
punch down.
Hold on.
Not the punch
Hold on.
down.
Hold on. Hold on.
Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Hold on.
Lord have mercy.
Okay.
Help me, Jesus.
So and I want to actually hit on that too. Is that like, yeah, no, I also totally agree. If there are people, if there's white comedians or whatever saying terrible stuff about black people, they should be held accountable and they should be canceled for it. Totally. The fact that they don't, that's a systemic racism issue. But but the way it was put, it made it feel like it was our fault. That's the feeling I got from it. And I know everybody can interpret things differently, but I think the problem is that one, yes, the cancel culture part, I don't like where it's like, oh, I didn't like this, you're done. Just right off the bat. I want to be like, okay, let's talk. And if you're not hearing what I'm saying and we're not listening to each other and trying to, hey, this is the issue that I had. If that's not what you meant, cool. Please say it a different way because you're pushing one group down to highlight something. That's what it felt like.
Good. And I'm the advocate, the devil's advocate. I'm everybody's advocate, uniqueness. And when you say punching down, he said it at the end. And see, people,
I know.
They're so into the little idiosyncrasies, they're not getting the message. Maybe I get it from black culture because I was with him. And granted, if he want to make jokes, obviously, actions or thought is incipient, right? So if you do something, you're thinking about it, you say something, whatever. So obviously there's something with Mr. Chappelle. That's his thing. So what? Let's just say that he's transphobic. He has the right to be that. You got white supremacists who are racist toward us this day. And yes, they have the right to be that, and they do that. That's why there's still disparities in education and healthcare and everything. Granted, I'm not in favor of people being like this, but if that's the case, all of white America should be canceled. The way they around here treat niggas and kids and Indians and Asians. What's up?
Yeah.
Come on, somebody.
I agree with this.
And that's
I'm about to say you can't cancel white folks. They ain't come here
You don't have to
begin
because
with.
God got that under control.
I'm about to say.
Nothing.
I'm about to say they ain't give you nothing.
They just be stealing.
And then be like,
Cancel
Time
us. Cancel us pieces of culturally.
Time out. You ain't on camera
But to
now.
take somebody, just think about that. And I look at, and this is maybe a little sidebar, I'm looking at some of the more publicized cases like Ahmaud Marbury and someone else. They got like all white juries with the exception of one black person, I think. And so they're making excuses. For the process of why most of the jurors is white. Now, in the case of Ahmaud, how do I say it? Ahmaud Marbury. Ahmaud. Yeah,
Arbery.
that wouldn't have even come to the light. That was finna be hush-hush.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's been exposed as an injustice. Okay, that's been exposed. You would think, damn, we've been found out. Let's try to change and straighten up. Mm-hmm. Now we're in the criminal justice process, and you still trying to perpetrate what you do. So I say this about racist people, white supremacists, whether they're using the queer community or whatever else subculture, this ism, and you're doing walkouts for this and you're trying to cancel this. These people that are coming at individuals, whether they're comedians or just people doing their thing, go after the big guys. Let's hit these structures and stuff. Like you tripping, the lady got this long list of stuff that she wants, right? We want this and we want this. And granted, you have a right to be treated equal, but it's no way that I can see you being wronged, right? You being served an injustice as well as me. I can't just say, well, forget Corey. You know what I'm saying? Because if I see that you're coming at me, I'm in the same boat, different color, going different way, whatever. Like, to me, that is just so hypocritical for me to try to demand justice for me and just overlook the harm that's been done to you. And that's the problem I have with the Netflix lady and all them people walking out, because you smart. You a smart lady, you creative, you right-brained it, all of that good stuff. So, are you blind? Is that your blind spot? Or are you so unaware? And that's why I say intersectionality. You can be marginalized until you need to be white. Because at any moment, and granted, there's people of color in queer communities. But the voices that's really impacting Mr. Chapelle is the voice of a white person.
He could have made that clear.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I think that's my thing. He could have been specific about it.
But he was. And maybe it's just our point of reference.
yeah.
Possibly.
I want to say something too about like Dave Chapelle is somebody who has a long career, has a ton of money, has a big, loud platform. And I think cancel culture, although I don't tend to agree with whatever they're doing, because I don't feel like I'm part of any, crowd with pitchforks about stuff. Yeah, I don't care, and some people care. And so and that's what it feels like, this cancel culture thing. But it's like they're going after, Dave Chapelle for this stuff. And it's because I think there's this class component that is, we haven't really talked about, but it's like Dave Chappelle is a very rich, wealthy, visible person, and he's
Still
using
black.
Yes, he's using his platform to say things that are harmful, and that's not good if anybody's doing it. Yes, I think the white community, because it's more, I don't know, hive-minded, they will glom onto a situation and like be able to cancel because they have the power. So like, they have the power because of the white supremacy, and it's like Dave Chappelle can't punch down on me, but Dave Chappelle can punch down on black queer people, and I think that's what happened.
But really, he can't. And this is how I look at it. Oh, God.
Especially if he's so wealthy. He's got the voice in a very big platform, and to
Dave
use
Chappelle
that
has
platform,
walked away from millions of dollars
but
because
he's
he
walked
couldn't say
into
what he wanted to
he's
say.
walked into millions of dollars, and he
Saying and
has a lot.
doing what he wanted to
Yes.
do.
I'm going to say this. And, oh, God help me, I'm going to say this. Dave Chappelle is married to an Asian. Okay? And every group has stereotypes.
Oh, yes.
I served in the military. I served in Korea, which is part of Asia. And I saw how they lived, the women carrying rice, and the women would be with the men for bags of rice. And we had ration cards where you could buy cigarettes and booze. And they had prostitute houses. You heard the thing Paul Mooney used to say, mail order brides. According to a lot of people, they would attribute that label to Dave Chappelle's wife. I'm not saying that. The point of me saying all of this, Dave has a platform, and I believe he's an activist. His grandfather did really amazing things and stuff like that. And when I say we can all have blind spots, there's a measure of true awakening and enlightenment, because when you're truly woke, you don't perpetuate the harm that has been done. I'm going to leave that there and let that breathe. But to speak as far as him being married to an Asian woman, he can't punch down on nobody. In essence, his action is punching down on us. I'll leave that there.
Well,
yeah. So it's been real, guys. I mean,
not gonna lie, that last like 2 minutes was very seldom.
Huh?
Those last like 30 seconds just now, very seldom. It got
Seldom.
quiet.
Yeah.
It got real quiet. It was
Yeah.
real deep for a second. Sorry.
And I'm going to leave, I'm just a little peon, and I have my thoughts, but I have the right to express them. Everybody has a right to express their opinion. We live in this country. People are trying to cancel Dave. He's doing no more than every other race has done, and especially the white race, from murdering innocent kids to whipping them at the border to just keeping people from seeking asylum. You got human trafficking going on. All of this I'm not going to say at the hands of the white man, but the white person is the one that with power that can do something about it. And what are we doing? We're trading with China. China getting paid. Vietnam and Viet
We owe
Cong.
China
And
money.
I just say all of this. So I say everybody has a right to their own opinion about people. And no, we shouldn't come at people negatively. But at the end of the day, people have freedom of speech. And if you're going to be who you are or who you perceive yourself to be that and embrace it. Because you're going to be talked about. People are going to make jokes. You're no better. No group is no better than anyone. And so if niggas, African Americans, been called apes and monkeys since the beginning of the times, ain't nobody tripping on that. They ain't fixed that yet. The queer community has made a lot of progress. The Hispanic community is becoming the majority. By the year 2050, seems like now they're already the majority. So it's like no species or race can be in charge all the time. And I think that's why people are getting so ratchet. When you say things, they're like, no, they're gaining ground. We got to keep them down. We got to keep them down, right? But it's not going to happen. So I say, whatever your identity, however you identify you and me, your identity is about you. It's about yourself. Embrace yourself. And no, it is not easy. I know it's not easy because I be turning up, okay? Y'all see me a couple of shows ago. I was like, and I was like, girl, what's going on with you? But embrace who you are. And people are going to say what they're going to say. They're going to make jokes. But if you're solid in your sense of self, you brush that shit off. Damn who they say who you are, what they say about you. You know you, and you got to know that you are loved, and you love you, and you embrace you. And the hell with all that. And don't be trying to cancel people because they got a right to do what they want to do. You heard? Well, I'm so glad you guys were here. You ladies. I mean, you got anything you want to leave our viewers, listeners with?
No, I feel like there's been plenty said.
Really?
Yeah, I really like where we left it.
Oh, cute.
I could do more. I could do for hours.
I know it's sort of like yes.
Well, we can end and go live if you want to do that.
Oh, my phone dying, so we're going to have to go on your phone.
Yeah, but it's been real. And listen, if you're going to be a queer, but don't be coming at me because I'm black, okay? We're both marginalized groups. So let's stop, let's not be blind. Let's not be blinded by the light that happens to be white, okay?
Ooh, bars.
Let's not do that. And at the end of the day, the bottom of the inning, however you want to say it, we're humans. We're spirit. We're beautiful. We have the right to be who we need to be. Let's use our skills. Let's communicate. I listen to you. I may not agree, but I empathize with you. You listen to me. You may not agree, but respect me. Put yourself in my shoes, and let's grant each other the grace to live our lives the way we need to live our lives. How about that, okay? I love you, ladies. Give me a hug. We out of here, y'all. Hey, share this episode. Leave a comment. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Imogene Simmons, the Perfectly Incomplete Podcast. Be good to yourself. I love you, and I'm out of here. Deuces!